What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful, amazing, spectacular, stupendous episode of Ryan and Real Estate. And today we are talking about a hot topic that everybody's been hearing about lately. It is short-term rentals. Is that a good investment? And actually, I'm going to make a comparison between short-term rentals and a long-term rental as an investment property for you. So let's first start with the short-term rental. They are the fad right now in the investment world because they really provide a higher reward as far as an investment. Most of the time, you're going to get a much better return in the year, most of the time, for a short-term rental. And a short-term, by the way, rental is really meaning, by the way, that you're going to buy a property and you're going to use a company like an Airbnb, a VRBO, or something like that, typically second home vacation areas, and you're going to allow those companies to manage it and rent it out and continue to allow that to be kind of, another option besides a hotel for tourists or whoever, is like vacationing. That's really the definition of short-term rental, hence the short-term part of that, is that they're coming for a very short amount of time. And that's basically based on how those services are renting them out. But yes, they are very much profitable, high reward, because short amount of periods, they can charge a little bit more. And the only thing I would say with those is there is much more of a higher risk with short-term rentals. Because, why is that? So you have a higher reward but a higher risk, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, there is a lot of turnover versus a long-term lease where you've got a year turnover or so. This is could be every day, it could be once a week, it could be, you have lots of turnover. That means lots and lots of different people who are coming in and out of your property that are, adding some wear and tear to it. And you kind of just want to make sure that whoever's managing that is doing a very good job. And it probably requires a little bit more check-in on your part. So you have a lot more turnover. Secondly, you have the potential for changes in the HOA. You really want to check those HOA documents because there could be a potential chance that they ban short-term rentals. And if that's the case, then your only option is long-term. And that may not be the best investment if it is a long-term rental. Short-term, it may work out, the numbers may play great together, but then if it turns into a long-term rental and you're not able to do that in a short-term, it may not be the best. The other thing is, the great part is with short-term rentals, you are still able to do a standard commercial investment loan, which is typically putting down 15 to 25%. There's a lot of competition in that as well. The other part that I would say is you really have potential for a lot higher fees because there's so much wear and tear. You're going to have a lot more probably repairs that are going to need to be made than typically a long-term tenant who's going to kind of see ownership in that home and probably maybe handle a lot of that themselves. So the expenses of the repairs could go up. The other thing that I would say is maybe kind of a negative of a short-term rental is that you're going to have higher fees. A lot of these property managers, such as an Airbnb or VRBO, and if you're using a property manager and not using it yourself, you could be paying up to 25 to 35% just in fees to get it rented out. So those are all the negatives, but yes, it could potentially be a great opportunity for you, and we've seen it in the last couple of years. People are trying to get out more, vacation more, and they're using short-term rentals more than they ever have. So don't take these negatives as hey, I can't do it, but just know these are the things that could potentially be a risk for you. But you do have that potential higher reward. Long-term investments are kind of the safe bet. Duplexes, single families where you're doing a traditional 1 year, 2 year lease. The great thing about that is you know what you're getting. You're able to vet out your tenants. They're going to be there for a long time. Typically, we're using TREC documents with that versus just a website like Airbnb. You're using TREC documents, especially if you use a realtor, and probably less risk, but not as much reward. So there's great benefits with both of them, but if you're really trying to take a risk and gamble it, the higher reward probably will come in the short-term rental. But just make sure you understand all the risks that come along with that. That is my take on short-term rentals. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask, and I'll be glad to shoot some comments. shoot us a message. I'll be glad to help you answer any questions you can. We have lots of clients that are buying short-term rentals, and we'd love to help you out with that. And as always, before you cross out and go log on Facebook, make sure you click the subscribe button and you ring that notification bell. And we will see you next time on Ryan Real Estate.